Oh yeah, now my people, we're back for another episode of Round on the Ground with your guy, the Nigerian Englishman, and
Mr. KANEBI, aka Go. What's up?
We are here. We are excited. We are happier this week because Premier League action was back in full effect, and there's no better place to start at than talking about Arsenal Football Club.
Yep.
And the reason why Arsenal is so important to talk about today is because the stage was set. They lost against Manchester United. They were saying, Brentford, big test, away from home, London derby. Maybe they'll have a little bit of rust for the games off. Arsenal answered all critics with a comfortable, convincing 3-0 win away from home at Brentford. Talk to me about how you thought Arsenal looked yesterday.
What more can I say? Arsenal look like a mature team. They look like a team that's developed character-wise, personality-wise. They look solid at the back. They look ruthless against Brentford. They look tactically on point. They dominated the game from start to finish. I mean, what more can I say? It was a complete performance from Arsenal, and Saliba getting the goals, Gabriel Jesus leading the line, and of course, Fabio Vieira with a stunning debut goal. And okay, big shout out to the 15-year-old who came on. He's a Nigerian, Ethan Wanyeri. He came on the last couple of minutes. He's the youngest ever player to play in the Premier League. And what more can I say? The Gunners keep on firing. I mean, in every game, they have scored a goal. Even the game they lost to Manchester United. That tells you all about Arsenal this season so far.
What I liked most about that game is, obviously, remember the tweet last season from Ivan Toney, little kickabout with the boys, as he said, when they beat Arsenal 2-0. So it was very much a revenge plot for Arsenal this week. And I believe they made Brentford look bad.
It's funny you say that. Well, some people were haggling Arsenal players for retweeting nice kickabout with the boys yesterday, but they forgot that last season when Arsenal went to the community, what's it called? I forgot the name of the stadium. When they went there last season, they got a spanking. Beginning of the season, they got a spanking. Yes, that game was redemption for them, and they took advantage of it. And you can't really blame them because these players, they felt a lot of pain last season. They were mocked last season, and this season they have every right to celebrate and show that yes, we're not the same team as last year. We're bigger, we're more matured, we're more ruthless. So yes, Arsenal, kudos to them. They have every right to celebrate.
100%. And I want to give a shout out to this guy. Number 34 is how I refer to him usually. But Granit Xhaka was man of the match yesterday. Let's not get it twisted. And he's come on leaps and bounds. I mean, a lot of Arsenal fans were against him still being at the club, getting the captaincy again. But do you think this is a full turnaround redemption story for him?
Granit Xhaka is a new footballer. From what I'm seeing this season, he's getting into the box. He's creating, he's scoring. You know, and what I like about him this season is he's not a liability anymore in the midfield. He used to be a liability for Arsenal in the midfield, creating.
Is that because he's playing further up?
Yes, now he's further off the pitch. He's in areas where he can attack the opposition, hurt the opposition. You saw that cross he gave to Gabriel Jesus. Fantastic cross. He is now detecting the play, detecting the tempo. He's leading. He's finally a leader, the leader that we wanted him to be. And I'm very happy for him, and he can only get better.
Okay. Well, the last thing I'm going to ask you about Arsenal is this. 6 wins out of 7. 3 London derbies, 3 wins. Top of the league after 7 games. Can Arsenal challenge for the title this year?
I wouldn't say Arsenal can challenge for the title this year. I would say Arsenal is part of the pack that is chasing Man City.
Okay.
That's the category I'll put them in. Challenging for the title, it's still early days. Let them not get carried away.
For sure.
It's still start of the season. It's just still 7 games, just a point behind Man City, who is firing. Man City, they are firing all cylinders with Haaland. We'll get to Haaland very soon. But I think Arsenal can make top 4. That's where I'm going to put them at. But challenging for the title, not this season. Maybe next season if they add more quality. Let's see.
And I think that needs to be where the area is. Just secure that top 4 Champions League and keep it pushing.
Yeah.
So now we're talking about champions, though. The champions played this weekend.
Yeah.
And there's a guy that's looking like a champion, Erling Haaland. He looks like he wants to break every single record there is to man in the Premier League. What's going on with this boy, man?
Erling Haaland is the first player in Premier League history to score in 5 away games in a row. This boy, he's here to make history. He's not just here to win titles. He's here to leave a mark. He scored a goal with his right foot. He's a left footer outside the box. And with Haaland, you don't know what to expect. You expect goals, at least that is guaranteed, but you don't know what kind of goal you're going to get from him. He is a goal machine, and right now, he's making Man City look like an unstoppable train.
It's scary. Left foot, right foot, flying kick, headers. Like, it doesn't matter off his yash soon he'll score somehow. Like, I don't understand this boy. Everything he touches turns to goal. And if you saw this, the right-footed shot he took to score wasn't even that good of a shot.
He scuffed the shot.
It was because it was Haaland. It went in. Like, what's going on here?
Bro, I'm being real with you right now. I am saying this, and I said this before. What Pep Guardiola is doing under Haaland, he's turning Haaland into a Messi-type, Ronaldo-type goal scorer. Those players that every game, they are scoring either a brace or they are scoring a hat-trick. But they are always on the score sheet. That is what Pep Guardiola is turning this boy into. He is turning this boy into the best striker in the world. And we can see this every week. They say when he comes to the Premier League, he's not going to be able to adapt. The Premier League is tough.
Struggle.
Come on. This is a boy that is born physically to play in this league.
He's a Viking, bro. He's actually a Viking.
He is dominating. And to be honest with you, if he stays in Man City for the rest of his life, he's going to pass Alan Shearer.
I don't want to start talking those numbers yet. It's early. You said a few names. Shearer, I heard Ronaldo, Messi, and yes, he is part of the new train of Haaland, Mbappe. They're the new wave of talent, but there's a long way to go. But he's definitely making the Premier League.
Bro, Haaland has scored more Champions League goals than Ronaldo had at his age,
and Messi at this age.
So that tells the story.
I hear you. Another guy that he struggled for form this season, though, he's not been that prolific, unlike Haaland, is Heung-min Son. I'm sure a lot of Tottenham fans were surprised to see him on the bench, but maybe not, because he has kind of had a rough start to the season. And Tottenham was struggling for control of that game. Enter Heung-min Son, and he took over the party.
Well, what can I say? Leicester is bottom of the table. Leicester is...
Really?
Leicester, for me, is everybody's wife this season. And I'm not surprised he came off the bench and scored a hat-trick. Leicester conceded from every set piece. Every set piece Leicester conceded, it looked like a penalty. It felt like a penalty for Tottenham. And they took advantage thoroughly. And what else can I say about Heung-min Son? Form is permanent. Sorry, form is temporary. Class is permanent. He's a world-class player. And he's a player that he can change a game. He can decide a game. The goals he scored outside the box, right foot, left foot. What else can I say? What more can you say? He's a magnificent player, and obviously, this will kickstart his season.
And for me, that's the thing about Spurs. As much as I don't like them as a club and I don't like their football, they're clinical. Give them chances and they score goals. But that doesn't seem to be the same thing when we talk about another club from London, Chelsea. Chelsea, I mean, they didn't have any Premier League games this week, but Chelsea played in the Champions League. Graham Potter had his first game in charge at Chelsea. Harry Potter at the wheel, as some fans are saying. What are you talking about? What are we talking about, Graham Potter?
Graham Potter, he had his first game against Salzburg. No Champions League experience. That was his first ever Champions League match. And it turned out to be 1-1. For me, Chelsea, I think it's a matter of their personnel. The way they play, they don't play like a team that is fluid. They don't have really much creativity in their midfield. They have midfielders that play the same way. They just win the ball, pass it side to side. There's nobody actually being brave, taking on players.
Ball carriers and that
sort of thing. They don't really have that kind of play. They need more creativity. They need a Fabregas like they used to have. They don't have that. They need a Hazard. They can't rely on Sterling for so long. Sterling is going to definitely burn out, and we know Sterling misses chances. Aubameyang is there, but is Aubameyang motivated to win, or is Aubameyang motivated to just get the best contract in the end of his career? These are questions we need to ask.
So after watching that game midweek, are you more confident about the Graham Potter thing, or you're still undecided?
Well, for me, I've been watching the Premier League for a very long time, and history shows that English managers do not do well in big teams when it comes to the Premier League.
Very true.
If you look at the people who have won the Premier League, they're all foreign coaches. Alex Ferguson is a Scotsman. He's not from England. Conte is Italian.
England, so, yeah.
Mourinho is Portuguese. Arsene Wenger is French. Klopp is German. Pep is Spanish. Is from Spain.
Scottish.
etc. and etc. etc. It goes on. So it's going to be a tough battle for him. And with the run of games coming, where's the time for him to implement his philosophies, his style of play? And he hasn't brought in his players. The only player that you could say that is his player is Cucurella.
Real talk. And this is, as you said, it's the Champions League, a competition that he's very inexperienced with a squad of superstars, which is very inexperienced with working with these type of people. But some say Potter has a master's degree in emotional intelligence, so there's nothing to worry about. He's got it covered.
Well, emotional intelligence, you are dealing with stars that all have more trophies than you in your football and your coaching career together. So how are you going to control these personalities?
The Chelsea fans assure me he'll find a way to bridge the gap. But also in the Champions League, there was a bit of a bounce back for Liverpool. I mean, former Cameroonian international Joe Matip scored in the last minute to get them a 2-1 victory against Ajax. So they got a W, which is good. Also, Juventus lost the game. We're going to get into their woes. Loads of trouble with Juventus and Allegri right now. But as we said last week, the feature game was Bayern Munich versus Barcelona. And as you watched the game, KANEBI, did it play out as you expected it to, or there was a few surprises you weren't expecting?
I think in the first half, Barcelona had loads of chances.
Lewandowski in particular.
They didn't take their chances. They missed a lot of chances. And in the second half, it was a different game. It was a game of two halves. The second half, we saw a great goal by Leroy Sané and Goretzka. You know, the thing about Bayern Munich this season is Bayern Munich, they look so good in the Champions League. They look like a team. They look hungry again in the Champions League. That's what I'll say. As for Barcelona, they're still a team in transition. Yes, they bought a lot of players. They bought a lot of new stars, but they're still a team that is growing. They're still learning under their manager. Xavi is still a new coach, to be honest with you. So I think they'll finish second in the group. Inter Milan, I don't know about Inter Milan finishing second, but I think Barca will finish second in that group. But the game was a great game of football. It was a game of two halves, but one other team was ruthless, the other team wasn't.
And that's what it was. I mean, on Lewandowski's return, we all expected him to get a goal at that stadium. He scored so many goals for Bayern there, and he had perfect opportunities. But Bayern proved if you don't take your chances against them, they'll punish you with 2 quick goals in the second half, and they really dominated that game. But when it comes to Bayern, it's a bit of a as in Jekyll and Hyde when it comes to Champions League and the league form right now, because in the Bundesliga, they are a different side. Like, what's going on? 4 games without a win?
But this is Bayern Munich every year.
But 4 games without a win at this stage of the season, KANEBI, come on now.
It's still early in the Bundesliga. You see, the Bundesliga, this is a team that have won the Bundesliga, I think 9 times in a row. And if you watch the Bundesliga, if you're a betting man, start of the season, like I said last episode, the Bundesliga is an open race before December. Once December kicks in, Bayern Munich go on a run and they win the league by March.
But I challenge you to I don't know, viewers, Bayern fans, I challenge you to tell me the last time Bayern 4 games in a row that looked 3 draws
been a while.
And a loss.
It's been a while. Yeah, I agree. It's been a while but you're forgetting that this time they have a new team, they bought new players, and they are without Lewandowski.
Okay, so do you think they're adapting to working without a number 9?
Exactly. I think one, Lewandowski took away the fear factor for maybe some teams in Germany, but you can never knock out Bayern Munich in the league because those other teams are not as consistent as Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich is still the most consistent team in that league. Dortmund is on top now with about a point or 2.
No, it's not even Dortmund, it's Union Berlin.
Union Berlin, yeah. Dortmund were on top on Sunday, Union Berlin. So what are we saying here? Those 2 teams, Union Berlin and Dortmund, I don't think they have what it takes in the long run to win the league. You don't think
this could potentially be their time? I mean, capitalizing on a transitional period that Bayern are going through?
No, Marco Reus is just injured now. So you see Dortmund are going to start. Their attack
again. Reus is injured again.
Yeah, the attack is going to suffer. Union Berlin, maybe they'll probably make it to the Champions League. But at the end of the day, who has the most experience, who has the better players? to go on the long haul to win the league. It's Bayern Munich.
You're right.
You can't write a Bayern Munich. How many points are they up? Maybe about 3 or 4.
I hear you. If there's any team that can go on a 10-game winning streak in the Bundesliga, it's definitely Bayern with their attacking options.
Yeah.
Mane's still there, Sane, Gnabry. They have so many different attacking options. And as you said, Dortmund have just lost Royce again. Seems to be the most injury-prone player, especially when big tournaments are coming up. 2014, he missed that tournament. I think he missed the Euros after that. Yeah. He just missed the recent Euros because of injury again.
Yeah, he's a very unlucky footballer.
And he's on track to miss this World Cup again, man. Ugh.
He's a very unlucky footballer. I mean, what was the time Real Madrid even wanted to buy him and even Bayern Munich, but injuries. He's one of those footballers that he should be up there.
Yeah.
But because of the way injuries have not been kind on him, and it's very sad. He's very sad. He's very sad. He's a great player. He's someone I really like as a German footballer. And
he's a loyal player for his team. He's a loyal player,
and it's very unfortunate that he gets injured when it's time to represent his nation.
For
because
sure.
Germany, they've not really...
The one he missed, they won.
Yeah, they have so much talent that they can do without him. But for him personally, I think it's a psychological blow.
For sure.
Yeah.
100%. So Interliga, and we all know this is the easiest one to cover. PSG played the game, PSG won. Either Messi or Mbappe or Neymar scored. That's just how it goes there. And guess what? Neymar assisted Messi's goal, which is Messi's 4th goal this season, and he's got 7 assists. So it looks like Messi and Ronaldo are having different years, where Ronaldo was the topic of conversation last season for his attributes. Now Messi's shown that he's still, some may say, the GOAT. I'm not ready to say that yet, but that's a different topic for a different show. But he's still got GOAT status and GOAT form, and he can still do GOAT things.
I think even last year, Messi didn't have a bad year. He still won the League One title, and he still won a Super World Club trophy with Argentina, and he won the Copa America before that. He still won the Ballon d'Or. So I don't.
It's not a bad year, actually. When you list it like that,
it's not really a bad year. I just think people are just exaggerating too much.
But the funny thing is, you can just tell the standards Messi has when people call something. When you listed all those accolades, that's a bad year for me.
Yeah, do you understand?
It's crazy.
He won all those. For me, I think Messi has gone into the mold of being a creator more than being a goal scorer.
He's adapted his game.
Yeah, he's changed his game. He's suited his style. I think he has settled more in France. You know, last year was his debut season. He was living in a hotel. I think now he has moved his family to a house. He's more settled.
Right.
The coach has changed the way they play. And right now, Neymar and Mbappe, they just need Messi to just create
for them. Get into space, he'll find you, basically.
Just create, right? Just enjoy your football. And he's just taking it easy because the World Cup is coming. And that's what he needs right now. He doesn't need to exert himself too much, but he's getting the job done.
I hear you, and I agree with everything you said. But for me, this PSG project, in fact, this year, they need a Champions League. They need to be in the Champions League final. This PSG project only makes sense if they win a Champions League. Otherwise, what's the point of bringing all those stars and spending all that money?
Brother, unless you're Real Madrid, the Champions League...
I don't care. No,
bro, listen. The Champions League is not your birthright unless you are Real Madrid. Look at Man City. Man City have been trying for years.
But have they done it the way that PSG have? All these superstars
but have they still won? They haven't. At the end of the day, even if they use a different method, they haven't won. Real Madrid...
Okay, wait. If PSG were to sign Messi, Neymar, Man City were to sign Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe, they have to win the Champions League.
It's still not guaranteed.
Nothing is guaranteed, but for it to make sense, they have to win it. That's what I'm saying.
But it's still not guaranteed. Because the Champions League is how you perform on the night. It's not who you buy. It's not how you are performing in your league.
For sure.
How are you going to perform?
Bruv, we're not debating whether it's guaranteed or not, but I'm just saying for the project to make sense, they need a Champions League at PSG.
If you look at France's history, the only Champions League team in France is Marseille.
So what does that mean?
It tells you a lot about the history of French football. It tells you that the French clubs, they find it very, very difficult to win the Champions League. English team...
when was the last French club that had all the weapons that this French club had? But we're going to be talking about this thing for too long. PSG. Well done, PSG. Still top of the league. There was a record in the Liga as well. 9-second red card. Player called Jean-Claire Tobido. Literally, I don't know how, you lost your head in 9 seconds.
Madness.
That's more impressive than anything
If
else.
I was
man.
the coach, I would find him.
Yeah, I don't see him back in the side before January next year, man.
Madness.
Crazy. And the problem child, as people like to call him, Marseille player, former Arsenal midfielder, which we clash on a lot. Matteo Guendouzi went from 0 to hero. He scored an own goal, and then he scored the equalizer to salvage a point for Marseille. What's your verdict on Guendouzi? Do you think it was the right thing for Arsenal to get rid of him?
Yeah, because Arsenal are doing well without him. So I don't think Guendouzi is a player that Arsenal should be sweating over. You know, Guendouzi, if he was that good, he would be in a bigger club. That's just how I see it. He's a
Marseille's second in Liga, French international as well.
But when we mean the bigger club, he should be in the Barcelonas, the AC Milans, at least an AC Milan. Come on.
Okay. So we'll hold judgment until then.
I
want to see.
He's a good player, but his attitude lets him down.
Fair enough. What can I say? La Liga, it's happened again. It's happened again. Real Madrid and Barcelona fighting for La Liga. We've been saying this all our lives, have we not?
Yeah.
And again, we're saying it again. We have Lewandowski, who is just a goal. He's a goal machine. 8 goals in 6 games. Another win for Barcelona. Like
Lewandowski could win the Pichichi this season.
Do you think that's mainly because Benzema's injured, or fit Benz as well?
It's not about Benzema. Benzema, no Benzema. He has been scoring goals.
True.
He's in a league whereby, I mean, come on, the defense in La Liga is not as tough compared to other leagues. Mm-hmm. You know, they don't really put pressure on the ball as much.
For sure.
And he's in a system whereby it's tiki-taka. The ball is on the ground. You have Dembele, you have Pedri, you have Gavi, you have Rafinha. You have so much creativity behind you. It's just for you to just stand in the 6-yard box and put the ball in the net. But
similar to Haaland, to be honest.
But for me, when it comes to Real Madrid have the better team, because that team, they have been around for a while. They have played with each other for at least 5 to 6 years. The same core team. You have the Modric's, the Crosses.
Okay, so let me make sure I'm with you here. So I would say I agree with you. The attacking threat of Barca, on paper, options-wise, it looks more substantial than a Real Madrid, but the key thing you talked about is the amount of time this Real Madrid squad has been
Real Madrid is actually a proper team. There's synergy there, there's stability there, and they have a manager who has been there before, who has come back, won again. So there's stability in Real Madrid. They just lost to Casemiro, and Tchouaméni is, oh my God, the pass for Vinicius yesterday was sublime. What are we saying? Vinicius and Rodrigo right now, those 2 players, they're on fire. So Barcelona, yes, they're a new team, they're in transition, they are doing okay. But for me, Real Madrid is that team to beat. Everybody has to beat Real Madrid and chase Real Madrid this season.
And you're right. I mean, Barca beat an Elche, which is not necessarily known as a big team in La Liga, but Real Madrid were in the Madrid derby.
Oh my God.
They were away in the Madrid derby.
Valverde.
And there's some standout performers that you've talked about. One of them who came in for Casemiro, and we thought obviously Madrid have an aging midfield and how are they going to keep things going? But they've made a great acquisition of Camavinga last summer. They've signed Tchouaméni this summer, and he looks like he's the extra legs that will probably give Kroos and Modric an extra year or so.
What Madrid is benefiting from now is years of proper investment. Investing in the likes of Rodrigo, Vinicius, Valverde, you know, Eder Militao. Mm-hmm. They bought these boys when they were 18, 17 from Brazil.
And people mocked them when they did sign them, actually.
And now they have won the Champions League. And now,
and the La Liga.
By the time the Benzemas and the Crosses and the Modrics pass on, sorry for using that term, move on or retire, you know the next generation coming in is ready. Real Madrid, kudos to Florentino Perez. He knows what he's doing.
Definitely ready. And just to on a positive note, we saw the celebrations for Rodrigo's goal, Vinicius and Rodrigo. There was a little bit of a backlash the previous week, a little bit of racism that happened with Vinny Jr. when he was dancing. Look, we are black people. We like to celebrate. We like to dance. Deal with it. And they didn't let that abuse hurt them. from last week, Vinicius and Rodrigo danced around that Madrid stadium to show them that we don't care. If you let us score, we go celebrate. And that's exactly what they did. Shout out to Gabriel Jesus as well, who was also celebrating in dedication to his Brazilian brothers at Real Madrid.
Yep.
Yep.
It's going to be a hot La Liga title race.
100%. Serie A. I always have a soft spot for Serie A because that's the first, because I didn't have Sky when I was young straight away. So the first live football I used to watch was Serie A, Super Coppa Italia on Channel 4 or something like that. But the Serie A league has been interesting. Ever since Juventus have stopped dominating, making that league a monopoly, Serie A started to get exciting again. And on the weekend, we had a game with Napoli versus the current champions, AC Milan. And that ended 2-1 to Napoli. First of all, are you surprised with the result?
Oh, that was
because it is Milan.
That was a great game. That was a
a game of chess, to be honest.
That was a great game. And I think the two teams were going in both on form. But right now, Napoli have been on a hot streak. And they were the team going in form, and they took their chances. Giroud obviously scored again. Giroud always scores in big games for Milan. But they came back. Pochettino, I don't know. Napoli looked like a team that is serious. But my problem with Napoli is it could start very well. Then towards the end of the season, they run out of gas. And luckily for Napoli, Inter Milan, they're not at the races yet. Inter Milan is not at the races. AC Milan is the only team that can actually challenge them right now. And AC Milan, I don't know. They've been a bit consistent in their defense. Their defense has been a bit open. But Napoli, I love the way they play. I love the way they attack on the break. And they're number 77. I can't say his name.
Yeah, that guy.
He's a revelation. He's a Georgian footballer. He's a revelation. Him and Polatano, or whatever his name is, they are running things. And Osimhen is even injured.
And they're still getting the job done convincingly. Like, I think yesterday was a typical Serie A chess match where you make the move, I'm going to counter it, you counter it, I'm going to make the next move. It was very much a proper Italian fixture, 2-1. As you said, Inter Milan, they got off to a flying start. Then Barella, great free kick.
Oh, what a free kick.
Great free kick. I thought they'd go on to win, but Udinese, for the night anyway, it was on the Saturday, for the night, they were top of the league with a 3-1 win against Inter.
Udinese wanted it. They look hungry. I think Italian football is improving. In terms of, the Italian football is turning into the Premier League slowly. I'm not talking about in terms of
how
cash.
Competitive it is.
Yeah, it's now more there's competition now. You can see that Juve, look at where Juventus is. It tells you a lot how far the Serie A is coming. The Serie A is now heated. Players, teams, they're getting better. They're playing better. The coaches, the young coaches coming into the game are tactically better. I mean, look, Spalletti is a revelation in Napoli right now.
100%.
You know? He's a revelation in Napoli. And of course, Stefano Pioli, obviously, for AC Milan, he has done very well. But speaking of Juventus, what's up with Juventus?
Bro, I have a soft spot for the old lady, Juventus, and they're getting rinsed right now. 4 games, no wins. They've just lost. They lost on the weekend to a team that have never registered a victory in top flight football. Juventus, the old lady, lost to Monza, for goodness sake.
The question is, when are they going to sack Allegri?
Bro,
it's clearly not working. It's clearly not working because his tactics are too old school.
I believe so. I believe that the same thing that happened to Jose in the Premier League is now happening to Allegri in Serie A. That his methods are too dated for the league. And it's not only the on the pitch issues they have. Their star man, Pogba, he's not only injured, he's going for a legal issue with his brother, for goodness sake.
His brother got arrested this weekend. His brother and some of his accomplices, they have been arrested for trying to extort Pogba for 13 million euros.
Can you imagine?
It's crazy.
Like you can't. It's like you can't even trust your family now.
Your own brother. Another crazy moment was Mourinho getting sent off in the Roma game. that was wild.
That's typical Jose Mourinho, to be honest. Jose doing Jose things, man. He was disheartened with a decision and led to him getting sent off.
Tammy Abraham missed a sitter yesterday, though.
They lost, right? Roma lost.
Yeah, they lost 1-0. They lost 1-0.
And I'm sure that wound is it's going to take a lot for him to recover after the weekend.
I think Roma can make the Champions League this year.
No, for sure. With how inconsistent teams are in Serie A and how people are just competing helter-skelter, you never know. And it is Jose.
They're all like crabs in the bucket right now.
And he had a very, very, very good transfer window, Jose.
Yeah,
Great, some astute business. Now for the final segment, Africans on fire across these European leagues. There's Africans doing really, really great things, and we want to highlight that. First of all, some honorary mentions because he's been missing for the side for a couple of games. Thomas Partey, representing Ghana and Arsenal, came back into the Arsenal side, and you saw the difference. A comfortable 3-0 victory against Brentford away from home. It's very different to what we expected from Sambi Lokonga, but he done very, very well. Also, sorry, got a personal issue with Sambi. We have another honorary mention for Taiwo Awoniyi. It was benched in the previous game for Forest, came back into the side, had a very, very solid game, capped it off with a goal. Unfortunately, his team couldn't take the 3 points though. But our nominees for African Player of the Week, first of all, we have our very own Alex Iwobi. Like, quickly about Iwobi, do you think Lampard has found his ideal position? Because we've seen him, he started his career on the wings for Arsenal. Then for the national team, he plays as a 10. Lampard's got him playing deep, coming as a CM. Do you think that's his role?
Only time will tell.
But so far this season,
because the thing with Iwobi is Iwobi's career has been hot and cold.
Patchy.
It has been too patchy, and only time will tell. But for me, his levels have improved.
For sure, and I'm liking how it looks, and it bodes well for the Nigerian national team. He got an assist on the weekend, had a great 90 minutes as well for Everton. So he's nomination number 1. Nomination number 2. This guy just cannot stop scoring in the Eredivisie. He scored against Liverpool in the Champions League midweek, and he also scored again on the weekend. Unfortunately, both his goals were for the losing team, but nevertheless, he's on a hot streak. Mohamed Kudus, representing Ajax and Ghana. What have you thought about his start to the season?
Mohamed Kudus is a revolutionary player he's a revolutionary African player, and for Ghanaians should be very, very excited. They have a very, very good talent on their hands, and the sky's the limit. I think next season, I'm glad he didn't go to Everton because I think a bigger team is going to come for him next season or the next 2 seasons, not Everton, please.
And we hope for him to light up this World Cup as well. And last but not least, we have Algerian winger Adam Ounas, who scored the winner for Lille in a 2-1 win against Toulouse. He is the 3rd candidate for African Player of the Week. So all you viewers, just pick your candidate on our Twitter page, #ROTG. And just put the name that you want, and we'll be announcing the winners at the beginning of next week.
Hashtag should be on the bottom of the screen.
Coming up somewhere on the screen right now. And we'll be announcing the winners on next week's show. And next week's show, guys, it's all about the internationals. International break. We're going to be highlighting the African nations in the international break and some of the hottest news coming out of the internationals next week as every country builds towards the World Cup. That's another episode of Round on the Ground. Catch me, the Niger Englishman, and
go ball, Mr. KANEBI.
Oh yeah, now catch us next week.